we go. Jack, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, cheers.
Lovely stuff. It's been an eventful month or so for you. How are you doing overall?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been crazy to be fair. Obviously, um, happened within a very short period of time, over a couple of days, and I found myself here. But I feel like I've fitting great, and really enjoying my time here so far.
I'll take you back particularly to your debut right at the start of May. Oliver Gildart goes off injured in the warm-up and you get the nod. What was going through your head at the time?
I was thinking, make sure I can tell, because obviously my mum wasn't there. Make sure I can tell my mum that she's watching. So, and luckily, my girlfriend actually came with me to the game, so she got to watch. But I think it was pretty good, and a few people said it that I didn't have time to dwell. I didn't have time to think about it. I was just thrown straight in there, and I could just think about doing what I'm good at, and playing rugby and keeping it simple. And I think when anyone does that, that's when they play the best rugby. So yeah, I was obviously thrilled to come in and play how I did on my debut.
Yeah, as you say, pretty good debut performance, try-scoring debut performance. How was the game overall for you, particularly against such a strong St Helens side as well?
Yeah, I think the one thing that really sticks out for me, and that I tell people about when they ask me about it, is just the crowd. I mean, that East End, I know it's known for, but when the music went off and I think they kept on singing, I was like a bit taken back. And we kicked off and we was running down. I was on that left side, that East End side, and I was a bit like, wow, this is loud. I couldn't even hear myself think. So that's probably one of the my first memories from that game, and one that sticks with me.
And then looking over the past few weeks, 4 tries in your first 5 games. How pleased have you been with the impact that you've had on the side since coming in?
Yeah, like when I spoke to Willie and I was coming, it was going to be a fight to get in the 13. Nothing was guaranteed, and feel like I've come in and held my position, took my chance when I got it, and I feel like I've been building nicely. Obviously moved to that right wing. I think we've had some really strong defensive displays, and we've been building every week just on that edge connection. I think we've got quite a good thing going, especially in defence on that right edge.
I was going to ask you how you found the shift out to the wing. I know you played on the wing at Cass at times, but how's it been settling in with your new teammates at Rovers while doing that?
Yeah, I think Pep makes it really easy. I think he's found some top form at the moment, so he's making it really easy for me. Playing with Tyrone May as well, who controls the game really well, and we have Niall sitting on our side. I think we've been linking up pretty well, and I think it's something that obviously playing wing comes naturally. I think if you put me anywhere across the back line, I think I can do a good job, and probably one of my strengths of my game, and something that we spoke about is my versatility when I'm coming here. So having that experience all over the park can only help.
And you mentioned earlier what you're expecting in terms of game time. We've got Joe Burgess returning from injury this week. Oliver Gildart expected back after the international break. How much are you looking forward to that competition and trying to keep your place in the 13?
Well, yeah, like it's 1 week at a time. All I can do is try give Willie, an headache and put a good performance out there against Cass on Thursday. And when we get back off the break, make it tough for him to pick them. That's obviously what I'm trying to do. So, but I think having a strong squad and a fit squad, it can only be good for moving forward and striving to win a grand final like what we're trying to do.
Away from playing, you've mentioned the atmosphere at Craven Park, but how are you finding your time overall at the club so far?
Yeah, I don't regret it one bit. I'm absolutely loving my time. Just the off-field stuff, how you're looked after. I think the facilities are great. You have no excuses. All the accountability is put on you as a player to perform. Like, they do everything they can to get 100% out of you, whether it be food, giving you the things you need on the field, everything. Yeah. So I think as a player that wants to be successful and the accountability is on you, you've got no one to blame. I think that's what creates such a good environment of winning.
And potentially after the break next month, your first whole derby, how big of an eye have you got on that?
Yeah, you hear people talk about it a lot. So yeah, I just have to probably take the weekend as a whole. Not really thought too much about it. Obviously, just thinking one game at a time, and our all our 100% focus is on Cass, and then following that it'll be on Catalan. So yeah, not really thought about that too much.
It's going to be my next question. How are you feeling about facing your former club Cass this week?
Yeah, obviously I've got some really good friends there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to play against them. Obviously done that before when I moved from Leeds to Cass. So yeah, it's something I've done before, and I think you just take it in your stride. It's no different to any other game really. You probably just know a bit more about them than what you do usually.
You had a year and a bit at Cass, getting regular game time after you moved from Leeds Rhinos. How much do you feel your brief stint there has helped your game?
Oh, massively. Just getting the game time and the experience, and that's everything I wanted to do. I went there for an opportunity. Obviously, I had a couple of different coaches, and it was quite tough at times. But I think playing in them tough games, it gets you ready for when you are competing and your back's against the wall in tight moments in games.
You mentioned it's been tough there. They're top of that sort of group of bottom three teams in Super League. What was it like the first few months of this season while you were still at the club?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I don't think they've had any luck with injuries. They've had Paul McShane's been missing, who's a big help. Quite a lot, and especially in that middle pack with there was really light when I was there. So it's hard to do anything when your middles. I think probably Willie speaking about it a lot. Everything comes from that middle unit. Like if you're defending on an edge, if you defend it well, it's because the middles have worked. If you defend it bad, it's probably because the middles haven't worked. So I think they've found some form, and obviously they've projected themselves to that kind of like top group. So yeah, they found some form. So we know it's going to be a tough game this week.
And how did you find working with Craig Lingard there?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Pretty laid back, and he went into quite a lot of detail. I think he had a good coaching group around him. Obviously, Danny Maguire, really good, and Scott Morrell. So they had a good balance, and I did enjoy my time there. But I think it was time for a change.
Very brief period working with Danny Maguire. What did you manage to learn off of him?
Probably just compete for everything. You can tell he's a winner. He wants to win at everything. So yeah, probably just that competitiveness.
Just looking at yourselves finally, coming off the back of that win over Huddersfield Giants, where do you feel there's room for improvement from that win, and what elements of it can you perhaps build up on?
Probably, our attack. Probably had a couple of shifts that didn't go, too fluent. So probably just working on that, which we've been doing hard today. We worked hard on that on the field this morning. I think our defence, was good, took care of itself, really connected. So yeah, probably just nailing and icing them chances that we get. Taking advantage of when it does come to our side.
How pleasing is that there's still room for improvement, but you're on a decent stretch of form at the moment, either side of these two breaks, the one for the Challenge Cup and then the one coming up for the internationals?
I think it just speaks volumes about, the playing group and staff. There's always room for improvement, and, we're striving to be the best that we can be. And, even if we had a really good win, they'd pick up, obviously show the positives, but we just want them finer details, and we know that that's what it's going to take to go all the way.
Just finally from me, Jack, once you get this game out of the way and the break, you'll be thick into the deep end of the second half of the season. Where do you feel this side is currently at the moment during this campaign?
I think the table's probably a fair reflection of where we are. I think, like I said, there's a couple of teams above us, and we know that, like I said, them finer details is what is going to help us catch them. So I think if we keep going the way we are and keep building and, peak at the right time, then anything.
Lovely. Thanks for your time, Jack.
Cheers. Thank you.
Jack, how you doing?
Hi, mate. Not bad.
Just on Cass and everything, obviously they'll have been disappointed to lose you. What sort of conversation did you have with them? Because obviously you had a bit of a decision to make, didn't you? You're being in demand.
Yeah, look, it happened pretty fast. They gave me the opportunity to speak to KR, and then a deal was done. And obviously they got players in return, so it kind of worked in both favours. So it was mutual. I'm still, nothing. It was a good ending, like relationship. Still spoke to Willow and Craig, and yeah, everything. It was a smooth ending.
What are you hoping to develop in your game? Obviously, said you're ready for a change and change of scenery, that sort of thing. Where do you want to kick on as a player now?
Competing for trophies, being at the top of the table. I think that's what any player wants to do, and I think KR is the right club to do that on the trajectory we're on. So yeah, I feel like it was a good. We're going to be challenging. That's what I want to do.
Lovely. I think Ollie's covered everything else. Thanks, pal.
Cheers.
Hey, Jack, you all right?
Right.
You mentioned before you still got mates at Castleford. Who are your biggest mates at Castleford still?
Probably we had a bus who we travelled with. There was me, Sam Wood, Alex Miller, and Danny Richardson. So luckily we've split in half. Danny Richardson's come in with me, and we've left two of them behind. So yeah, probably Sam Wood and Alex Miller.
Is this the week where messages are firmly off and everything, or are they flying between us all?
No, I've not spoke to him yet. I probably won't tell him too much. But yeah, might grab a coffee.
You mentioned before about the differences between the two clubs. Does being a Hull KR player feel differently to being a Castle player for you?
No, at the end of the day, you're a rugby player, and it's all the same. But I feel like maybe a little bit of the expectation at the moment. Obviously, we're right at the top of where we want to be, and we're knocking on the door, whereas Cass is still probably, and they'll say it themselves, in that development phase. So yeah, I'd say there's a bit more weight on your shoulders at KR at the moment, and yeah, you know that for them fans, you have to succeed, and there's no other option.
Do you appreciate that weight of expectation? Do you almost thrive off it?
Yeah, I think obviously that adds a lot to your game. You know that when you step foot on that field, that it's on, and you need to do them proud. And Willie gives us themes every week, and the last couple of weeks ago it was just making them fans proud, and what it means to them, and seeing, and we had a little video showing what it means to them, celebrating our tries, and we have a big say on the community and how their weekend goes. If we play rubbish on a Friday and lose, then their weekend's ruined, whereas we have that power and privilege to go give them the bragging rights and have a good weekend, which I think is pretty powerful.
And you mentioned before about the facilities that KR have. I mean, at Castleford, it's fairly obvious that their facilities aren't as good as what KR have. I mean, does that remove all excuses for a player, maybe having more at your fingertips? Maybe it just sort of all rests on you to produce what you can do?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'd say Cass have, they have everything you need, and they have everything another club has, but it might just be on a bit of a small scale. So I would never say that they didn't, provide for you, because they did. They had everything that you needed, just like KR do, but probably just on a little bit of a bigger scale. And that's that. No, I wouldn't say that. No.
No, I mean, Cass almost like they almost thrive off being that. Sort of almost like define the odds sort of thing, really. I mean, when you were at Castle, is that almost like, so you're told about, so like defining what's around you, defining the expectations, because they're not the biggest of clubs, they're not the biggest of towns. It's obviously a town that's gone through a lot as well. I mean, are you almost like told to almost like embrace that history of Castleford as a town, as a player representing the town as a club?
I think that's the same at every club. You want that connection with your fans, and you want them showing up. And I think that they are probably not where they want to be or where they've been in the last few years, but the fans are still showing up. And whatever club you're at, you want to make them fans proud. So I think that's something that's just built into the real rugby league working class. They work hard all week. They spend the money on the kits, on coming to games, and you want to repay that.
Is Craig Lingard laid back all the time?
No, he knows when to switch it on. I think he's got a good balance. So yeah, no, he's not laid back all the time. He can blow up when he wants, but yeah.
And likewise, same with Willie as well, I guess.
Yeah, Willie, he's been, the finer details that he's been going into since I've been here is, he didn't leave any stone unturned and untouched. So, yeah, he's good.
You meant finer details. They're almost like finer details that even you maybe never thought of.
Probably you thought of them, but he just goes into more detail and reiterates the importance of them a bit more than what you probably think that they are important.
No, and put all them little things together, it makes a big sort of change, doesn't it?
Yeah, it adds up to be a big thing.